Well now, look who wandered in just before dream time. Welcome, my dear traveler, to the Academy of Sleep. I'm Grandpa Ryan, your humble guide through old stories, quiet wonders, and the kind of history they don't rush to tell you in school. The kind that drifts like sea foam and lingers like a bedtime breeze. Now, before your eyelids start doing that little sleepy dance, why not tap that subscribe button? Go on, do it now. You'll thank yourself in the morning. And then, we'll begin. Ocean Mysteries, Strange Creatures, and Lost Worlds. Introduction. Before we begin our journey into the secrets of the ocean, let's take a moment to settle in and relax. Find a comfortable position, lying down or reclining wherever you are. Let your hands rest gently at your sides. Close your eyes if you'd like. Take a slow, deep breath in and exhale gently. Feel the weight of your body sink softly into the surface beneath you. Now, imagine a gentle wave rolling onto a quiet shore. With each inhale, picture the wave reaching forward, bringing calm, cool ocean air. With each exhale, let the wave retreat, carrying away tension and restlessness. Allow your breath to follow the rhythm of the sea, smooth, steady, effortless. Inhale, calm washes in. Exhale, worries drift away. Notice any tightness in your shoulders or jaw and let it soften. Let your thoughts float freely, like shells on the tide. If your mind wanders, simply return to the feeling of the gentle wave, moving in, moving out. As you settle deeper into relaxation, imagine you are floating weightless above the ocean. The water below is vast, mysterious, and tranquil. Each breath takes you further from the noise of daily life, deeper into the soothing world of blue silence. When you're ready, keep this feeling of calm with you as we begin our journey tonight. Descending from the sunlit surface of the sea, through its shadowy depths, and into the forgotten worlds that lie beneath. The ocean is more than just water. It is the largest unexplored realm on our planet. It holds secrets older than memory, creatures stranger than dreams, and stories as deep as time itself. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, let the ocean's mysteries carry you, gently and softly, into the world of dreams. Chapter 1. Life at the Edge of Light, Surface Waters, and Their Inhabitants. As you settle deeper into comfort, imagine the first glimmers of morning sunlight touching the vast dawn surface of the ocean. Here, at the border between air and water, a world awakens, full of delicate color, shimmering reflections, and the ceaseless motion of waves. This is the ocean's surface, the place where the sun's rays dive down into the water, bringing warmth and life. It's easy to forget in our everyday routines that the surface of the ocean is a world all its own, a living, breathing boundary, always in motion, never the same from one moment to the next. The surface might look tranquil from the shore, but beneath each ripple, life is busy and bustling. Let your mind drift across this gentle, rolling blue. Picture flocks of seabirds soaring above, their wings casting fleeting shadows on the woofies. Some dive gracefully, slicing into the water to catch silver flashes of fish. Gulls, terns, and petrels ride the breeze, forever at home between the air and the sea. Floating near the surface, there are travelers of another kind. Sea turtles, ancient as time, come up to breathe, their eyes blinking in the sunlight before they slip once again beneath the waves. Dolphins arc through the water, moving with a speed and elegance that almost seems impossible. They live in tight-knit pods, communicating with the language of clicks, whistles, and body movements, a secret ocean dialect that is still only partly understood by humans. Beneath the glassy blue, schools of fish glitter and turn in perfect synchrony, each movement reflecting the sunlight in a dance of color. Sardines, anchovies, and mackerel form massive clouds, moving as one to avoid hungry predators. Sometimes their twisting shapes are so dense that they appear as shifting shadows from off a reminder that life here is often about staying together, moving as one, surviving by the safety of numbers. The surface waters are also home to drifting marvels, jellyfish, with their soft, glowing bells and trailing tentacles. Some are tiny as raindrops. Others stretch for meters, glowing faintly with their own natural light. They drift with the currents, moving where the water takes them, living at the mercy of the ocean's endless motion. Even more mysterious are the beautiful and dangerous Portuguese man-o'-war, with their vibrant, balloon-like bodies sailing just above the waves, trailing venomous tentacles far below. Tiny plankton, barely visible to the naked eye, float in these sunlit waters. They are the invisible foundation of life in the sea, drifting on currents and blooming with the changing seasons. Phytoplankton, tiny plant-like cells, use sunlight to create energy, releasing oxygen into the air. It's strange to think, but much of the oxygen you are breathing now was made by these microscopic drifters far out in the open ocean. This sunlit zone, known as the epipelagic or surface layer, stretches from the water's edge down to about 200 meters. Here, the energy of the sun powers nearly every living thing, from the smallest plankton to the largest whale. Bluefin tuna race through these waters, sleek and powerful, chasing after clouds of fish. Enormous whale sharks glide by, filter feeding on plankton, serene and ancient, as if moving in slow motion through a world of light. Sometimes the calm of the surface hides sudden drama. A school of flying fish, startled by a predator, launches into the air, gliding above the waves on shimmering wings, only to splash down again moments later. At sunset, the surface comes alive with color. Golden pink skies reflected on gentle waves as night creatures prepare to rise from the deep. Coral reefs, although most often found near shore, belong to this sunlit world. Beneath the surface, they form vibrant, bustling cities of life, home to parrotfish, sea stars, colorful anemones, and curious octopuses. Reefs are reminders that even the edge of the ocean is full of hidden beauty and fragile wonder, both ancient and ever-renewing. All around, the ocean's surface whispers with possibility. Some days it is calm and welcoming, on others restless and wild. But always it is a border, a place of encounter between light and routine, air and withes. Every sunrise brings a new beginning. Every wave carries 1,000 stories. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine the warmth of the sun on your skin, the gentle rise and fall of the waves, and the endless horizon stretching out before you. The surface waters are only the beginning of our journey, a gateway to deeper mysteries waiting just below. Soon, we will leave this bright, bustling world behind and begin our descent into the twilight, where the light fades and stranger things await. Chapter 2. Into the Shadows. The world of the Twilight Zone. As you sink deeper into comfort, imagine yourself slipping beneath the shimmering surface, leaving behind the warmth and brilliance of sunlight. The world above grows fainter, the blue deepens, and everything slows. You are entering the Twilight Zone, a realm between light and darkness, known to scientists as the mesopelagic layer. Here, sunlight fades into blue shadows, and the mysteries of the deep begin. The Twilight Zone stretches from about 200 meters to 1,000 meters below the surface. It's a place where the last traces of sunlight barely reach, turning the water to dusky blue, then midnight indigo. For most creatures living here, daylight is only a memory. Imagine the gentle pressure increasing as you drift lower, the coolness wrapping around you like a silken shroud. Life in the Twilight Zone is unlike anything on land or at the surface. It is a place of adaptation, of strange beauty and elegant survival. Since food is scarce and darkness almost total, creatures here have evolved remarkable ways to survive. Picture lanternfish, tiny silver-bodied fish, swimming in huge vertical migrations, rising at night to feed near the surface and retreating to safety by day. Each lanternfish glimmers with spots of bioluminescent light, produced by special organs along its sides. In the inky blue, these living lights help lanternfish blend in or signal to others, painting ghostly constellations in the dark. You might spot a siphonophore, a creature that looks like a floating string of fairy lights. Some siphonophores can stretch for meters, each segment pulsing with its own gentle glow. Or a bristlemouth, one of the most abundant vertebrates on Earth, small, unassuming, with a mouth lined with needle-like teeth and an eerie underbelly that glows to match the faint light from above. This camouflage, called counter-illumination, helps it vanish from the eyes of predators lurking below. Here, everything is designed to either hide or surprise. Some fish have eyes that point upwards, searching for the silhouettes of prey passing against the windscreen above. Others, like the hatchetfish, have bodies flattened like silver coins, reflecting every glimmer to become nearly invisible in the twilight. The stoplight loosejaw, a tiny dragon-like fish, glides by with a mouth that can open impossibly wide, ready to snap up anything that wanders too close. It produces red bioluminescent light, invisible to most other creatures, giving it the power to hunt unseen. Jellyfish and comb jellies are everywhere here, drifting in slow, rhythmic pulse. Some twinkle with blue and green light. Others shimmer like living rainbows. The ctenophore, or comb jelly, glides on rows of tiny beating hairs that scatter light into dazzling colors, like a moving jewel in the deep. But the Twilight Zone is not silent. Every day as night falls, the greatest migration on Earth occurs. Billions of creatures, shrimp, squid, tiny fish, rise from the darkness to feed in the safer cover of night, then return to the depths by dawn. This daily movement helps cycle nutrients, connecting the deep sea to the surface, feeding larger predators, and even affecting the global climate. Scientists know that even now, we've only glimpsed a fraction of the life in this realm. Robotic submersibles, shining lights into the gloom, have revealed startling surprises. Giant squid, drifting like phantoms. Delicate octopuses, unfolding in clouds of color. Schools of deep-sea shrimp glowing with their own blue-green light. Every expedition brings new forms, stranger than the last. The Twilight Zone is also the ocean's great curtain, a place that shields the secrets of the deep from sunlight and the human eyes. It acts as a barrier, a veil where the rules of life are written in light and darkness, hunger and hiding. Most sunlight is gone, but life goes on, quietly, in patterns that are older than memory. As you drift in this cool, quiet place, feel yourself suspended in endless blue, safe and weightless. Imagine the slow glowing ballet of lanternwisti, the invisible flight of hatchetfish, the silent sweep of a jelly's bell. You are far from the noise of the world, deep in the ocean's embrace, a world between light and night, where time seems to slow and dreams can take any shape. Soon we'll leave the twilight behind and slip even deeper into the midnight realm, where the strangest creatures of all await in darkness that has never known the sun. Chapter 3. Abyssal Monsters, the deepest creatures on Earth. As you float gently down from the Twilight Zone, you enter a world where sunlight has never reached, a place of eternal night, unimaginable pressure, and bone-chilling cold. This is the abyss, the deep sea, where the ocean's greatest mysteries and most astonishing creatures wait. Here, everything is transformed by darkness, and every life is shaped by the strange demands of the deep. The abyssal zone begins about 1,000 meters beneath the waves and stretches down to depths of 6,000 meters. Further than Mount Everest is tall. The temperature here hovers just above freezing, and the pressure is so crushing it would flatten any unprotected human vessel. Yet life not only survives in this harsh environment, it flourishes in forms that seem borrowed from another world. Imagine drifting along the ocean floor, your only light, the faint glow of distant bioluminescent creatures. Out of the gloom, you spot the anglerfish, a small, fierce predator with a huge mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. The female anglerfish carries a glowing lure above her head, swaying it like a lantern to draw in curious prey. In a world where food is rare, this glowing beacon can mean the difference between life and starvation. Nearby, a gulper eel glides by, its mouth impossibly wide, its body long and ribbon-like, ready to swallow creatures half its own size. Then a deep-sea dragonfish appears, slender and menacing, with fangs so long they won't even fit inside its own mouth. Its body is streaked with living lights, some red and blue, which it uses to communicate and hunt in a language written in flashes. Here, the darkness is alive with light. Many deep-sea creatures create their own glow through bioluminescence, a kind of natural magic. Tiny shrimp can burst with sudden blue sparks to startle predators. The vampire squid, with its cloak-like web and deep red body, floats serenely, switching from blue to red lights along its arms as it senses danger. There are siphonophores so long they could stretch across a soccer field, each section pulsing with colored light, weaving hypnotic patterns in the water. If you look closely at the seafloor, you might see ghostly white crabs and blind shrimp clustered around hot, mineral-rich vents, volcanoes on the ocean's bottom, called hydrothermal vents. Here, life depends not on sunlight, but on the heat and minerals pouring from the earth itself. Giant tube worms grow in towers, their blood-red plumes waving in the vent's warmth. Bacteria inside them transform the chemicals in the vent water into food, a process called chemosynthesis. This astonishing partnership is proof that life finds a way, even in the most unlikely places. There are creatures here that almost defy belief. The blobfish, whose jelly-like body survives the immense pressure of the deep, but appears comically droopy when brought to the surface. The barrel-eye fish, with its transparent head and eyes that can gaze straight upward through its own skull, searching for shadows of prey. The giant amphipod, like a shrimp from a prehistoric dream, nearly as big as a loaf of bread. Most of the animals here are small, slow, and patient. In the abyss, energy is precious, and food may only appear once in a great while. A fallen whale, a drifting jelly, or a rain of marine snow. The endless drizzle of tiny particles from above. Some creatures, like the rat-tail fish, roam the bottom in search of scraps. Others, like the tripod fish, plant themselves on the seafloor, waiting motionless for a passing meal, balanced on long, spindly fins. The deeper you go, the stranger life besides. In the trenches, those narrow scars at the very bottom of the ocean, such as the Mariana Trench, life is even more extreme. Here, at depths over 11,000 meters, pressure is more than 1,000 times what you feel at the surface. Yet, there are amphipods, worms, even mysterious snailfish living out their secret lives. Some may never encounter a human, or even a fellow of their own kind. For most of us, the abyss will remain forever out of reach. Too cold, too deep, too alien for our fragile bodies. But as you drift in this peaceful, weightless darkness, you are in the company of the most adaptable, resilient life on Earth. Every heartbeat, every flicker of light, every soft movement on the ocean floor is a quiet miracle, a reminder of nature's inventiveness and the endless possibility of life. Allow yourself to rest in the silent, dreamlike depths. Here, time moves slowly, and everything is patient. The secrets of the abyss are safe and ancient, guarded by creatures that have never seen the sun. And now, as your ocean floats gently above the endless dark, let's listen for whispers from the past, stories of lost cities and civilizations, long hidden by the ocean's embrace. Chapter 4. Whispers of Antiquity, Sunken Cities and Civilizations. As you rest even deeper, let your mind drift away from the living darkness of the abyss and travel to another kind of mystery, one shaped not by nature alone, but by the passage of time and the rise and fall of human dreams. Beneath the gentle sway of the waves, the ocean hides not only strange creatures, but also the silent ruins of worlds lost to memory. These are the sunken cities and vanished civilizations, whose stories echo in the quiet heart of the sea. The surface of the earth has changed countless times over the millennia. Land has been swallowed by rising seas. Coastlines have shifted. Islands have emerged and disappeared. Sometimes storms, earthquakes, or great floods have swept entire communities into the water, leaving behind only scattered stones and whispered legends. All around the world, beneath shimmering blue or restless gray, lie reminders of ages past, waiting in the hush of the deep. One of the most famous legends is Atlantis, a mighty island city, said to be a place of wonder, wisdom, and incredible wealth. Described by the ancient philosopher Plato, Atlantis was said to have vanished in a single day and night, swallowed by the sea. Historians still debate whether Atlantis was a real place or only a symbol, a story meant to warn of pride and downfall. Yet the idea of a lost city beneath the waves continues to stir the imagination, inviting explorers to search for traces of forgotten glory. Beyond legend, there are real ruins beneath the water, some so old their origins are shrouded in mystery. Off the coast of Greece lies Pavlopatri, a sunken city more than 5,000 years old. Roads, houses, and tombs rest quietly beneath the shallow waves, perfectly preserved by silt and time. Divers have traced out the entire neighborhoods, imagining the lives once lived there, families gathering by their hearths, traders arriving by boat, laughter and conversation, now replaced by the gentle lapping of the sea. In India's Gulf of Khambat, scientists have discovered geometric patterns, stone blocks, and the remains of ancient structures beneath the waves. Some suggest these could be the ruins of a civilization older than any known in the region. But the ocean guards its secrets well. Erosion, silt, and time have hidden much, and many questions remain unanswered. The city of Heraklion, once a bustling port at the mouth of the Nile, lay hidden for centuries beneath the Mediterranean. Submerged by earthquakes and shifting sands nearly 2,000 years ago, Heraklion is now a quiet realm of columns and statues, sphinxes and temples, lying silent beneath the water. Divers exploring its streets have found coins, jewelry, and ceremonial boats, tiny windows into the everyday life of an ancient city lost and found again. Japan's Yonaguni Monument is another underwater enigma, a massive stepped stone structure off the coast of the Yonaguni Islands. Some believe it to be the remains of a sunken city with terraces, stairways, and water plazas. Others argue it is simply a strange natural formation, shaped by the relentless force of the sea. Whether built by hands or by water, Yonaguni's silent shapes invite wonder and speculation, their meaning blurred by the currents of time. Sunken ruins are not only relics of disaster, but also of slow, patient change. The Doggerland region, now hidden beneath the North Sea, was once a fertile plain connecting Britain to mainland Europe. As the last ice age ended, melting glaciers raised the seas and flooded the land. Forests, villages, and ancient tools now rest under meters of sand and water, preserved like memories in the dark. The ocean holds more than stone and bone. It keeps the memory of stories, of sailors and fishermen who glimpsed strange shapes in the water, of civilizations who built their lives on the edge of land and sea, never knowing that the water would one day claim it all. Every submerged pillar, every mossy wall, is a letter in a silent underwater chronicle, a story of hope, struggle, and the slow work of Divsi. As you drift through these forgotten streets, picture the light filtering down, casting soft, moving patterns on worn statues and broken columns. Imagine moss and coral, weaving new life over old stone, turning each ruin into a quiet garden. The past is never truly lost in the ocean. It simply changes shape, transformed by the tides into something ancient and beautiful. Let yourself float gently in this place of memory and mystery. The ocean's embrace is gentle and unhurried, holding centuries of stories beneath its endless blue. And now, as you settle deeper into the calm, listen to the ocean's other voice, the strange haunting sounds that fill its vast secret halls. Chapter 5. Oceanic Sounds. Mysterious noises recorded by hydrophones. Close your eyes and imagine that you are drifting in the quiet mid-ocean, weightless and serene. All around, the water seems perfectly silent, yet beneath this silence, the ocean is alive with sound. Some of these sounds are familiar and comforting. The gentle murmur of waves, the distant song of a whale, the clicking conversation of dolphins. But deeper still, hidden from human ears for centuries, there are stranger, more haunting voices. These are the ocean's mysterious noises, enigmatic sounds that have been recorded by scientists and sailors alike, and whose origins sometimes remain unknown. In the 20th century, as humanity learned to listen beneath the waves with hydrophones, sensitive underwater microphones, we discovered that the ocean is never truly still. It is a realm filled with echoes, pulses, groans, and hums. Some are easy to explain. The grating call of a blue whale, low and resonant, can travel hundreds of miles. Others, however, have puzzled experts for decades. One of the most famous of these is the bloop, a deep, powerful sound detected in 1997 in the Pacific Ocean. The bloop was louder than the call of any known animal and seemed to originate far from any human activity. For years it sparked imaginations worldwide. Was it the call of some gigantic creature, a secret volcano, or the shifting of the seafloor? Eventually, scientists suggested it was most likely the sound of enormous icebergs fracturing and moving. Yet the legend of the bloop still lingers, hinting at monsters that might yet dwell in the dark. Then there is the mysterious Julia, a high-pitched, mournful sound picked up in the South Pacific. Its wailing tone lasted for almost a full minute, filling the deep ocean with an otherworldly echo. Like the bloop, Julia's true origin is thought to be ice or geology. But for those who have heard it, the sound conjures images of ancient leviathans swimming through cold, forgotten waters. Other recorded sounds have names that seem as strange as the noises themselves. The upsweep, a regular pulse of tone that rises and falls. The slow down, a long descending note that echoes across miles. The whistle, the train, and the ping. Some of these have been tracked for years, their sources moving across the map, sometimes growing stronger, sometimes fading away. Many are likely natural, caused by ice, shifting tectonic plates, or the movements of water itself. But a few still defy certain explanation. Not all oceanic sounds are so mysterious. The songs of whales, especially humpback and blue whales, are among the most complex animal communications known. These underwater areas can travel vast distances, sometimes even circling the globe. Each whale population sings its own melody, changing it slightly over time, as if the entire ocean is sharing a slow, ever-evolving symphony. Dolphins, too, fill the water with rapid clicks, whistles, and buzzes, using sound not only to communicate, but to see through echolocation. Shrimp can snap their claws so loudly that the pop can stun small prey and even disrupt sonar. Schools of fish moving together create soft crackles and murmurs that are almost like the rustling of leaves. But it's the unexplained sounds that linger in our imagination. When a hydrophone picks up a low, moaning roar from the deep, too large, too powerful to match any known animal, there is a feeling of standing at the edge of the unknown. Perhaps the ocean is reminding us that some of its secrets are meant to remain hidden, that there are stories beneath the waves we may never fully understand. As you float in the gentle dark, imagine the slow pulse of sound moving through the water, the distant rumble of a storm overhead, the click and tap of tiny creatures, the echoing call of a whale on the other side of the world. Imagine, too, the possibility that somewhere, in the blackest trenches or drifting under polar ice, something ancient still sings a song we have yet to decipher. Let these oceanic voices lull you deeper into rest. The sea is a storyteller, and every sound is a memory, an invitation to dream. And as you listen, the next tale approaches, a time when sailors and explorers filled their minds with visions of monsters, mermaids, and legends that blurred the boundary between truth and myth. Chapter 6: Caravels and Sea Monsters, Maritime Legends of the Age of Discovery. As you drift in the comforting dark, imagine the sound of creaking wood and the snap of canvas sails above restless waters. It is the age of discovery, and the wooden ships, caravels, galleons, clippers, journey across unknown oceans. For sailors on these voyages, the sea was a place of infinite mystery and fear, a world with no maps, where the horizon promised both hope and danger. By night, they listened to the wind and waves. By day, they stared into the shifting blue, wondering what might be waiting just beyond sight. In these centuries, before science had unlocked the ocean's secrets, the unknown was filled with possibilities and with monsters. Ancient charts were marked with warnings. Here be dragons. Sailors told tales of creatures so large they could capsize ships, of serpents and krakens lurking below the waves, waiting to rise up and drag the unwary to their doom. One of the most enduring legends was that of the kraken, a monstrous octopus or squid, said to dwell off the coasts of Norway and Greenland. Stories claimed it could wrap its tentacles around an entire ship, pulling it down into the black depths. Some even believed the swirling ocean currents and mysterious whirlpools were caused by these unseen giants. Today, we know of the real giant squid, rarely seen but truly immense, with eyes as large as dinner plates. But in those early days, even a sighting of a strange shape in the mist could spark stories that would be told and retold across oceans. Then there were tales of sea serpents, long, writhing bodies glimpsed at the edge of vision, undulating beneath the surface. Sailors spoke of great bellowing roars at night and wakes that stretched for miles. Some accounts may have been inspired by oryx, ribbon-like, silver creatures that can grow longer than a bus, and sometimes wash ashore after storms. Others perhaps were born of fear and exhaustion, the mind's way of making sense of a world that refused to be tamed. But not all legends were so terrifying. There were stories of mermaids, beautiful and elusive, their song said to lure sailors onto the rocks. The mermaids of old were not always gentle. Sometimes they were omens, their appearance a warning of storms or disaster. Yet their image, half human, half fish, captured the imaginations of generations. Perhaps these sightings were inspired by manatees or dugongs, glimpsed briefly in strange light. Perhaps, too, they were symbols of longing and loneliness, the hope for magic in a dangerous world. As ships ventured farther, explorers brought home tales of flying fish leaping from the water, of whales that spouted columns of water like fountains, and of coral reefs so beautiful and deadly that they seemed enchanted. Some stories held grains of truth. Sailors spoke of glowing seas at night, which we now know is caused by bioluminescent plankton lighting up the waves. They described waters that ran red or green with mysterious blooms, which today we recognize as massive swarms of tiny organisms, nature's own spectacle. Maps from the era of Magellan and Columbus are adorned with fantastical illustrations. Fish with faces like lions, dragons with wings and horns, turtles so vast that trees grow on their backs. Each was a reflection of human curiosity and awe, a way to make sense of a world that stretched far beyond what anyone had ever known. Even now, as we look back with knowledge and science, the old legends have not lost their magic. They remind us of a time when every journey was an adventure, when the ocean was a blank page for the imagination. They are a testament to the wonder and terror of the unknown, the need to find meaning in every shadow and ripple. Let these stories lull you as you rest, tales spun by wind and wave, dreams shaped by fear and fascination. The sea remains a place of mystery, and even today, we can never be quite sure what might be waiting just beneath the surface. And now, as your mind floats peacefully through these legends, let's visit the ocean's most surprising landscapes. Rivers, waterfalls, and lakes hidden beneath the waves, where water flows within water, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Chapter 7. Underwater rivers, waterfalls, and lakes sink deeper into the ocean's calm, and imagine a world where water itself becomes a sculptor, carving secret paths beneath the waves. In this hidden landscape, the familiar features of the land, rivers, waterfalls, even lakes, exist not on dry ground, but far below, in the silent blue of the deep. Here, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, as the ocean reveals one of its most enchanting mysteries. Bodies of water within water, each with its own secrets, flowing silently in the dark. It may sound impossible, yet under the sea, there truly are rivers and lakes, formed not by fresh water, but by dense, salty brine that sinks and flows along the ocean floor. These brine pools and channels form where salt deposits lie buried beneath layers of sediment. Over time, the salt mixes with seeping water, creating a heavy, almost syrupy solution that is far denser than the seawater around it. Unable to blend, the brine forms pools and streams meandering along the seabed like rivers through aquifers. valley. Imagine diving through warm, clear water and suddenly seeing a shimmering, silvery surface beneath you, a mirror within the sea. If you dared to descend, you would pass through a haze where the boundaries blur, then emerge into a new world. Here, brine lakes reflect light in strange, dreamlike ways, their shores lined with delicate white salt crystals and strange, thriving bacteria. The transition is so sharp that even submarines bob and float on the surface of these underwater lakes, just as a boat would on a pond. One of the most famous of these places is the Cenote Angelita in Mexico, where a hidden river of hydrogen sulfide flows beneath fresh groundwater. Divers descending into the cenote are greeted by an ethereal scene. First clear blue water, then a dense billowing cloud of pale mist, and below it, the ghostly outlines of fallen trees. The illusion is so perfect that it's easy to forget you are still underwater, wandering through a forest lost to time. There are also underwater waterfalls, places where currents of dense water spill over cliffs and drop into the abyss, mimicking the movement of rivers on land. The largest of all is the Denmark Strait Cataract, hidden between Greenland and Iceland. Here, icy water from the Arctic slides beneath warmer Atlantic currents, plunging downward in a cascade more than 3 times the height of Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall on land. Invisible to the human eye, this underwater waterfall is the most powerful on Earth, moving billions of tons of water every hour. Beneath the Black Sea, there lies another lost river, evidence of ancient valleys and wide winding channels now hidden beneath layers of salt and sediment. Scientists using sonar have mapped out these drowned landscapes, revealing that the ocean floor still remembers the rivers that once carved their way through dry earth. Even the deep Gulf of Mexico is home to brine pools, small lakes with distinct beaches made of salt and sea silt. Around their edges, tube worms, mussels, and strange shrimp gather, living in chemical worlds where normal fish cannot survive. The creatures here are adapted to extremes, thriving in conditions that would be deadly elsewhere. Their very existence is a reminder of the ocean's inventiveness, of life's ability to adapt and endure. These secret rivers, lakes, and falls are easy to miss, hidden beneath layers of water, seen only by those who dare to venture far from the surface. Yet they are some of the ocean's most enchanting sights, proof that even in the greatest depths, there are landscapes as varied and beautiful as any found on land. As you drift in your mind through these underwater valleys and beside silent silver lakes, imagine the hush and the mystery. The sense that you are a visitor in a world where every rule is new and every sight a wonder. Let yourself float along these hidden currents, feeling the peace of places few have ever seen. Soon our journey will bring us to tales of treasure and tragedy, stories of sunken ships, chests of gold, and the quiet histories waiting on the seafloor, all held safe by the ocean's patient hands. Chapter 8. Sunken Ships, Treasure Chests, Lost Gold, and Stories. Imagine the ocean floor as a vast, silent museum. Each grain of sand and each hidden cove, a page in a history book written by the tides. Over the centuries, countless ships have crossed the world's seas, carrying with them dreams, hopes, fortunes, and secrets. Some completed their journeys, but many were claimed by storms, reefs, or battles, sinking to the bottom and leaving behind traces of a life abruptly interrupted. These sunken ships, now resting on the ocean bed, are time capsules, preserving stories that the surface world has long since forgotten. The ocean's embrace is both gentle and merciless. A wooden galleon, perhaps once filled with laughter, song, and the hope of returning home, lies quietly in the gloom. Its timbers are draped with seaweed, its masts toppled, and its decks now a playground for curious fish and shy octopuses. Over time, even metal giants succumb to rust and pressure, transformed into living reefs, new worlds where coral flourishes and schools of fish swirl through broken windows and rusted cannons. Among the most famous of these wrecks is the Spanish galleon Nuestra Señora de Atocha. In 1620, loaded with gold, silver, and emeralds from the New World, she sailed into a hurricane and vanished beneath the waves off the coast of Florida. For centuries, the Atocha's treasure, its precious cargo, and even more precious stories, remained lost, buried under sand and sea. Only in the 20th century did explorers finally find her, recovering a fortune in jewels and artifacts, but leaving many questions forever unanswered. Other wrecks are even older. Ancient Greek and Roman ships, their cargoes of wine, oil, and pottery still nestled in the sand, tell of busy trade routes and bustling ports now long forgotten. Each amphora, each battered coin, is a whisper from another time, a reminder that the world has always been connected by the restless movement of water. There are tales, too, of pirate ships and their fabled treasure chests. The Whydah Galley, a real pirate vessel captained by Samuel Bellamy, sank off Cape Cod in 1717 during a violent storm. Its remains, discovered centuries later, contained not only gold and silver, but also everyday objects, buttons, shoes, and even a tiny pistol, offering a glimpse into the lives of those who once sailed under the black flag. Not all shipwrecks are famous or wealthy. Some are humble fishing boats, warships lost in battle, or merchant vessels claimed by reefs and fog. Each has its own story, known perhaps only to a handful of families or a single old logbook. Yet the ocean holds them all with the same patience, sheltering their remains and letting new life blossom from what was lost. Sometimes shipwrecks become the center of myth and mystery. Legends tell of ghost ships doomed to sail forever, like the Flying Dutchman, seen as a pale shape in the mist, a warning of danger to those who spot her. In truth, a drifting wreck, slowly broken by the waves, can seem almost alive in the twilight, a ghostly presence gently rocking with the current. Wrecks have also become homes to extraordinary beauty. Coral reefs, sponges, and sea anemones colonize every surface, turning ruined hulls into underwater gardens. Schools of fish dart through open holds and rest in the shadows of shattered masts. Each ship is reclaimed, transformed from tragedy into a new beginning. For divers and explorers, finding a shipwreck is like discovering a message in a bottle, sent across time and space. Some search for treasure, others for history, but all are drawn by the sense of wonder, the thrill of touching something lost, the chance to unlock a story written in salt and silence. As you drift through these sunken halls in your mind, imagine the gentle sway of the current, the quiet hush of silt settling over ancient wood and rusted steel. Picture forgotten treasures glinting in the darkness, a single coin, a jeweled goblet, a compass pointing nowhere but home. Each is a memory, kept safe in the patient arms of the ocean. Let these quiet stories fill your dreams, a reminder that even what is lost is never truly gone, but becomes part of something larger, woven into the endless blue tapestry of the sea. And now, as you float in the gentle hush, let's explore how the ocean remembers, how its movements shape the world, influence the climate, and tie past to present, holding the memory of the earth itself. Chapter 9. The Ocean's Memory. How the Sea Shapes Climate and History. As you drift deeper into the ocean's gentle night, imagine the sea not just as a place of secrets, but as a living memory, an ancient mind that holds the story of our planet. The ocean is the great connector, linking continents, guiding migrations, and quietly shaping the course of history with every tide and current. Even now, as you rest, the water is moving, circulating heat, storing the whispers of the wind, and carrying memories from one shore to another. The ocean's memory begins with its currents, vast rivers within the sea that move warm and cold water across the Giwa. The mighty Gulf Stream, for instance, brings warmth from the tropics all the way to northern Europe, making winters gentler and fields greener. Other currents flow in intricate loops, some just at the surface, others so deep that sunlight never reaches them. These currents move slowly, sometimes taking centuries to complete a single journey around the world, blending old and new, north and south, surface and abyss. The ocean is also a vast storehouse for the climate. It absorbs sunlight by day and releases warmth at night, acting as the planet's natural thermostat. When the sun blazes and the air grows hot, the ocean draws in excess heat, keeping our world in balance. When winds blow and seasons change, the sea remembers, slowly releasing energy, shaping storms, and calming the air above. Even the rain that falls on distant mountains may have begun as vapor rising from the endless blue. Every droplet in the sea carries traces of the past, echoes of ancient rains, dissolved minerals from old mountains, even the dust of volcanoes that erupted long before humans walked the earth. Scientists can read these memories in the layers of ocean sediment, the chemistry of salt, and the shells of tiny plankton that drift with the currents. Each layer is a page in the ocean's diary. Stories of great ice ages, of mass extinctions, of warming and cooling, drought and flood. The ocean has shaped the course of human history too. Ancient peoples followed the stars and the currents, using the sea as a highway between worlds. Traders and explorers brought spice, silk, qualities, and stories from one continent to another. Civilizations rose and fell by the rhythm of the tides, by the bounty of fish, the safety of harbors, or the threat of great storms. Even emperors depended on the sea's mood, rising with trade winds or falling to disaster in the wake of hurricanes and tsunamis. But the ocean's memory is not always gentle. Sometimes it remembers storms and tragedies, sending their echoes into the present. The sudden change of a current, the arrival of El Niño or La Niña, can bring drought to some lands and floods to others. Coastal cities still brace for the tides, just as they have for centuries, knowing that the ocean is both friend and wild force. Now, in our time, the ocean's memory is changing. The water is warming, ice is melting, and new currents are beginning to flow. Scientists watch, listen, and measure, trying to understand what the sea is telling us, what old secrets it keeps, and what new warnings it whispers. The ocean remembers everything, but it also adapts, shifting with the wind and the moon, the breath of the earth, and the turning of the sun. As you rest, feel the gentle pulse of the ocean's history beneath you. Imagine drifting in a current that connects you not just to distant places, but to distant times. Every wave is shaped by what came before. Every tide carries the memory of 1,000 yesterdays. The stories of the sea are the stories of our world, a tapestry woven from sunlight, salt, wind, and time. Let the deep peace of the ocean's memory soothe you, holding you safely in a world that is both ancient and ever new. And as you float, we will turn to a different kind of story. The ways the ocean has inspired human imagination, fueling tales of distant planets and other worlds, and bringing the mystery of the deep to the stars themselves. Chapter 10. Deep Space of the Ocean. How the Sea Inspired Science Fiction. The deeper we journey into the ocean's midnight world, the more it feels like drifting into another universe. It is a place as alien as the farthest star. For centuries, the ocean's depths have kindled the human imagination. They inspire stories of adventure and mystery, of lost civilizations and strange new life. But it was only in the age of science and exploration that we began to truly see the ocean as our own inner species. It became an unknown frontier, rich with possibility, that mirrors the infinite cosmos above. Writers, dreamers, and explorers have long drawn comparisons between the sea and the stars. The vastness of the ocean, its darkness and pressure, its strange creatures, and endless horizons, all seem to echo the silent emptiness of space. Just as astronomers look up and wonder what might live on distant planets, oceanographers peer into the deep and marvel at what might swim just out of sight. Both realms are filled with questions. Both invite us to imagine what might be. Jules Verne was among the first to merge these worlds. In his classic novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Captain Nemo's submarine, the Nautilus, travels through the ocean as if it were a starship. It explores sunken forests and lost cities, battles monsters, and discovers new worlds in the darkness. Verne's vision was so compelling and so prescient that many of the technologies and creatures he imagined have become real. Today, we have deep-sea submersibles and the strange glowing animals found at the bottom of the sea. The ocean's greatest mysteries often sound like science fiction. Hydrothermal vents, discovered only in the 1950s, are like underwater volcanoes. Their towers of mineral smoke rise from the abyssal plain. Around them, cluster creatures that seem almost impossible. There are giant tube worms with blood-red plumes, white crabs that are blind to sunlight, and shrimp that see with heat-sensing organs. These ecosystems survive without any sunlight. They rely instead on chemosynthesis, a process that may also occur on icy moons far from our sun. such as Jupiter's Europa or Saturn's Enceladus. Some scientists now look to the deep sea for clues about life elsewhere in the universe. If creatures can thrive in total darkness, in crushing pressure and icy cold, then perhaps similar life forms might exist on other planets or in the oceans beneath distant moons. NASA studies the ocean not just to understand Earth, but also to prepare for missions to alien seas. They train with submersibles in the deep and test robots beneath the Antarctic ice. The ocean also inspires the look and feel of science fiction. In films and stories, deep-sea landscapes become alien planets. Swirling bioluminescent lights drift like stars in the black. Forests of coral rise like strange crystalline trees. Shadows move that might be fish or something stranger. James Cameron's The Abyss reimagined the bottom of the sea as a place for first contact with otherworldly intelligence. Countless stories use submarines, underwater labs, or sunken cities as the settings for cosmic adventure. But it is not just writers and filmmakers who feel this connection. Even astronauts, when describing the experience of spacewalks, often compare the sensation to diving into the endless blue. There is the same sense of floating, of gentle weightlessness, of venturing beyond the known. Both the deep ocean and deep space strip away the boundaries of the familiar and challenge us to adapt, to imagine, and to dream. The ocean's influence goes further still. Submarine cables connect continents. They carry the voices and images of our civilization through a realm as uncharted as outer space. New medicines are discovered in deep-sea creatures. Engineers look to the designs of jellyfish, squids, and sharks for ideas to build new robots, vehicles, and machines. In every era, the ocean has called to our curiosity and invited us to look deeper and dream bigger. It reminds us that our own world is full of unexplored frontiers. Every answer brings new questions. Even as we reach for the stars, we find ourselves looking back into the sea. We search for the origins of life, the secrets of survival, and the spark of imagination. So as you float quietly in this midnight world, think of the ocean as both a memory and a promise. Its mysteries are not only a source of wonder, but also a map for the future. The boundaries of discovery lie not only beyond the skies they sea, but also in the depths within ourselves. And now, let us return to the shadowy surface. Here the ocean's dangers and hidden powers wait. Tsunamis, whirlpools, and creatures that haunt the edge of our dreams. Chapter 11. Ocean Dangers, Tsunamis, Whirlpools, and Hidden Monsters. As you drift in peaceful blue, it's easy to feel the ocean as a gentle cradle. It is endless, soothing, and safe. But the same waters that nurture life can also become fierce and wild, reminding us that the sea is not only beautiful, but deeply powerful. For all its quiet moments, the ocean holds secrets of unimaginable force and danger. Its moods can shift in an instant. Tonight, let's drift through some of these mysteries. The goal is not to bring fear, but to honor the respect that the ocean has always commanded in the hearts of sailors and dreamers. The most dramatic ocean danger is the tsunami. This is a wave so immense and swift, it can cross entire oceans. It is born from the shaking of the earth, far beneath the waves. When underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or landslides disturb the sea floor, energy is sent racing through the water. On the open ocean, a tsunami may pass as little more than a ripple. But as it approaches land, it rises suddenly, a wall of water that can sweep away everything in its path. Stories of ancient tsunamis are found all across the world. These are carved into legend and memory. A village swallowed, a temple lost, a coastline forever changed. Another danger equally mysterious is the whirlpool. These swirling, spiraling currents form where tides, winds, and underwater geography collide. The most famous, like Norway's Saltstraumen or Scotland's Korivrekken, have spun in place for thousands of years. Their names are whispered in the tales of fishermen and travelers. Some whirlpools are gentle, just stirring the surface. Others can grow powerful enough to pull small boats into their churning center. To watch a whirlpool is to glimpse the ocean's strength. It is twisting, patient, and impossible to resist. But the ocean's threats are not always so dramatic. Hidden beneath the surface are quiet dangers. There are strong currents that can pull the unwary far from shore. Unpredictable waves, called rogue waves, can rise out of nowhere. These tower high before crashing down with no warning. Even experienced sailors respect the signs of a sudden change in wind, a darkening sky, or the rumble of distant thunder. The ocean's power is often subtle. It offers a gentle warning that can turn in a moment to wild force. Yet perhaps the most enduring dangers are those shaped by our imagination. These are the monsters that have haunted human dreams since the first boat ventured into open water. In every culture, there are tales of the great unknown beneath the waves. There are giant squid, their arms twisting up from the dark. Shadowy shapes slide beneath a swimmer's feet. Enormous sharks glide silent and unceasing. The real creatures of the deep, like the colossal squid or the ancient Greenland shark, slow and almost blind, have only deepened the sense of awe. The ocean also conceals invisible threats. Harmful algal blooms, sometimes called red tides, can turn the water toxic. They kill fish and make the air heavy with strange metallic scents. Even the gentle beauty of a jellyfish can hide danger. Their delicate, transparent tentacles can deliver a painful, sometimes deadly sting. But for all its dangers, the sea is not an enemy. It is wild, yes, but it is also home. This ancient world asks for respect, attention, and humility. The same ocean that can unleash a storm can also offer shelter and calm, nourishing every living thing on earth. Sailors have always known this. They offer prayers and tokens to the sea before a voyage and whisper words of gratitude when they return safely. For every tale of a shipwreck, there are thousands of peaceful journeys. For every storm, there is a sunrise glimmering over gentle waves. The dangers of the ocean do not exist only to frighten. They are reminders that the world is still full of things beyond our control, wonders that cannot be tamed or predicted. To love the sea is to accept its wildness, to learn its rhythms, and to dream with open eyes. As you rest in the ocean's embrace, let the sense of awe wash over you. Do not feel fear, but instead let this be a gentle reminder of nature's power, beauty, and mystery. In the dance of tsunamis, the spiral of whirlpools, and the shadow of a distant fin, there is a deep and ancient story. It is a story of survival, adaptation, and respect. Now, let your mind float toward the horizon of possibility. The ocean's future is a realm of both hope and uncertainty. What comes next for this vastis's vital world? Can we protect it, or will we lose more than we know? Chapter 12. The Secret Lives of Coral Reefs. Let your mind drift now to warmer, shallower seas, where sunlight glimmers down in ribbons of gold and turquoise. Here, beneath gentle waves, lies one of the most extraordinary realms on our planet, the coral reef. At first glance, it might seem like a garden made of stone, or a collection of oddly shaped rocks. But in truth, a coral reef is a living city. It is a vibrant, bustling metropolis built from countless tiny architects, each one playing its part in the world's most intricate underwater tapestry. Corals themselves are humble creatures, simple polyps no bigger than a grain of rice. They cluster together, generation after generation, secreting limestone to form grand structures that rise and sprawl for miles. Over centuries, their collective effort shapes massive reefs. These structures are delicate, intricate, and endlessly colorful. In the hush of the ocean, these reefs stand as silent monuments to cooperation and patience. They grow a little more with every year, weathering storms and change. As sunlight filters through clear water, it stirs the reef to life. Tiny fishes such as dazzling blue tangs, flickering clownfish, and bold butterfly fish dart among the branches and crevices. Their scales catch every glint of daylight. Schools of silvery fish swirl in shifting clouds. They move as one in a gentle ballet, always alert for danger. Hidden in the shadows, a patient moray eel peers from its rocky den, mouth opening and closing in a slow, ancient rhythm. Coral reefs are nature's mosaics. Each inch is brimming with life. Crabs and shrimp tiptoe across the coral's surface, cleaning and searching for scraps. Octopuses glide from hole to hole, their soft bodies changing color and texture to match their surroundings. It is a magic show for the careful observer. Sea turtles cruise slowly overhead. They stop to rest or nibble on sponges, undisturbed by the busy world below. At night, the reef transforms. As the sun slips beneath the horizon, nocturnal creatures emerge. Spiny lobsters march in single file, searching for food. Parrotfish tuck themselves into crevices, wrapping their bodies in bubbles to sleep safely. Bioluminescent plankton twinkle in the dark, turning the water into a soft, sparkling dream sea. The coral polyps themselves extend their tiny tentacles. They wave gently in the current to catch drifting morsels. In the quiet, you can almost feel the reef breathing. It is a living organism, millions of tiny mouths opening and closing in a slow ocean lullaby. Coral reefs are more than beautiful. They are the rainforests of the sea. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they are home to nearly a quarter of all marine species. Every crevice and cranny is a refuge, a nursery, a hiding place. From the tiniest seahorse to the graceful manta ray, the reef shelters a cast of characters as diverse as any on Earth. But coral reefs are delicate too. Their colors fade if the water grows too warm, too polluted, or too acidic. This is a quiet warning from nature that balance has been lost. When corals lose their vibrant hues, they are crying out for help, for cleaner waters and gentler hands. Yet even in adversity, reefs can recover. After storms or bleaching, new polyps settle and grow. They mend what was broken, given time and care. The secrets of coral reefs are endless. Some creatures, like the clever cleaner Rase, run cleaning stations where fish come to have parasites gently nibbled away. Others, like the camouflage stonefish, hide perfectly still, waiting for an unwary meal to swim by. Each day, every tide, brings new dramas. There are births and hunts, symbiotic partnerships, and the quiet renewal of wifey. As you rest, picture yourself floating above a coral garden. Sunbeams flicker through water, casting moving shadows on the living sculptures below. Imagine the gentle sway of sea fawns, the soft tap of shrimp, and the silent world busy with color and life. Feel the peace that comes from knowing you are surrounded by a community older than memory, delicate and enduring, built on patience, harmony, and hope. Let the secret life of the reef lull you into deeper relaxation. Here in the coral's embrace, the world is safe, beautiful, and ever renewing. This is a gentle reminder that even the smallest creatures, working together, can create wonders beyond imagining. Chapter 13. The Nightlife of the Ocean. Creatures of the dark, as you settle deeper into comfort, let your mind slip beneath the waves once more, into the gentle hush that settles over the ocean at twilight. The sky above turns from gold to indigo, and the last rays of sunlight melt away, giving the sea's surface a silvery sheen. As darkness claims the water, a new and ancient drama quietly unfolds. It is a nightly transformation as the ocean's hidden creatures awaken and the world beneath the waves changes utterly. Night in the ocean is unlike any night on land. Here, darkness is not an ending, but a beginning. It is a signal for billions of tiny lives to stir. In the shallow waters above reefs and grass beds, many of the familiar day dwellers, like bright fish, sleepy turtles, and cautious crabs, seek out safe shelter to rest. Just as they tuck away, another caste emerges, drawn by the safety of shadows. The greatest migration on Earth happens every night in the open sea. As dusk deepens, untold billions of tiny plankton, shrimp, and fish rise from the deep twilight zone. They float toward the surface in search of food. Some are barely larger than dust motes, others as long as a finger. For them, the darkness is protection from hungry eyes above and below. Their ascent turns the water column into a living river of movement. It is a dance as old as the tides. With the coming of night, the very light in the ocean changes. Bioluminescence, nature's own malic, flares into life. Tiny dinoflagellates, disturbed by a wave or the brush of a fin, flash blue-green, creating underwater fireflies. The surface glimmers with each gentle motion, so that a swimmer or a passing dolphin seems outlined in glowing light. Sometimes an entire wave will break with a milky, ghostly radiance, as if the sea itself is dreaming. Predators of the night, begin their patrol. Squid, silent and quick, move in hunting packs. Their bodies shift colors in the dark, their tentacles seeking out fish or shrimp. Lantern fish, among the most abundant vertebrates on the planet, use their rows of light-producing organs to signal to others or blend in with the faint glow from above. It is a silent code passed through generations. On the reefs, the change is just as striking. Nocturnal hunters like moray eels glide from their dens, their jaws wide and patient. Crabs and lobsters scuttle across sand and coral, their shells gleaming faintly in the moonlight, filtering down from above. Some fish, like the squirrelfish and soldierfish, are specially adapted to see in the dark. Their eyes are wide and bright as they explore their shadowy kingdom. Many creatures of the night rely on senses other than sight. Octopuses stretch their arms along the reef, tasting and touching as they search for a midnight snack. Sharks patrol the shallows, guided by electric fields and the faintest hint of movement in the water. Yet for all their reputation, most are simply part of the ocean's quiet rhythm. They are rarely seen, rarely threatening, and each has a place in the balance of the night. Not all nighttime visitors are hunters. Planktonic creatures drift with the current, feeding on microscopic algae or each other. Some glow gently, a soft signal to attract mates or warn away predators. In some parts of the world, the synchronized flashes of bioluminescent organisms can be seen from the shore. They turn the sea into a vast living constellation. Above the water, the world is peaceful. The moon rises, casting long, shifting paths of light on the surface. Seabirds settle on distant rocks, their calls fading with the dusk. In the silence, only the rhythmic pulse of the ocean remains. This is a reminder that even at its quietest, life continues in a gentle, unhurried way. As you drift in your imagination through these nocturnal waters, let the soft magic of the ocean at night lull you. Picture the glimmers of bioluminescence, the silent movement of squid and eels, the calm reassurance of the waves. The ocean at night is a place of both mystery and safety. It is a realm where ancient patterns repeat in darkness, and where every creature, no matter how small or strange, plays its part in the nightly symphony. Let this vision comfort you as you sink into deeper rest. The ocean's night is gentle and vast. Its stories are older than memory, and its rhythms are soothing as a lullaby. Even in darkness, the world is alive with beauty, wonder, and quiet harmony. Chapter 14. Tides and the Dance of the Moon. Settle into comfort and imagine yourself once more by the edge of the sea. Feel the cool night air, scented with salt and mystery. The gentle hush of distant waves reaches your ears, rising and falling in a timeless pattern. In the darkness above, the moon glows quietly, her face reflected in shifting pools and shimmering ribbons across the water. For as long as humans have watched the sky and listened to the sea, they have known that the moon and the tides are bound together in a dance that shapes both the ocean and our lives. The tasty sea is the ocean's breath. Twice each day, along every coastline, the water rises and falls in an ancient rhythm. It is a slow, graceful movement, guided by the pull of the moon, and to a lesser extent, the the distant sun. To stand at the shore and watch the tide come in is to witness the world's oldest performance, a dance as old as the planet itself. It all begins with gravity. The moon, though distant and silent, exerts a gentle but irresistible force upon the earth. She pulls the water toward her, drawing a subtle bulge of ocean beneath her light. As the earth spins, this bulge travels around the globe, creating high tide in one place, while on the other side of the world, another high tide answers in echo. Between these crests, the water recedes, leaving behind the soft, wet sand of low tide. Each day, the moon's slow journey overhead draws the tides with her. She is a silent partner in an endless waltz. The sun joins this rhythm too. When the sun and moon align at new moon and full moon, their combined gravity tugs the ocean higher, producing spring tides, the strongest of all. When they form a right angle at the quarter moons, their competing pulls soften the tide, bringing gentle neap tides. Even on the calmest days, the sea is in motion, shaped by these cosmic companions. Life itself has evolved with the tide's pulse. In tidal pools, tiny creatures time their feeding and hiding with the water's rise and fall. Clams and mussels close tightly as the sea pulls back, opening again as the waves return. Fiddler crabs scurry across the mud, busy with ancient routines. Even humans living by the sea have learned to read the signs. There is a rising tide for launching boats, a falling tide for gathering shells, a certain moon for fishing or planting crops. The world's earliest calendars and rituals were often built around the reliable dance of whir and moon. Tides shape the land as well as the sea. Over countless ages, their gentle force carves cliffs, sculpts beaches, and carries sand to build new islands. Sometimes the tide reveals treasures hidden by the sea. There are colorful starfish, glistening pebbles, and lost relics of another time. Sometimes it swallows the shore, washing away footprints and smoothing all that was left behind. At night, when the world is quiet, there is something deeply comforting in the rhythm of the tide. It is a reminder that change need not be rushed or violent. Change can be slow, predictable, and full of grace. The ocean does not resist the moon's pull. It yields, flows, and returns, teaching us a kind of patience and acceptance. Even in times of uncertainty, the tide comes and goes, and the moon keeps her gentle watch. Somewhere, as you listen, the water is rising on a distant shore. Somewhere else, it is falling. All across the globe, the tides continue. Unhurried and eternal, generations have watched the moon's reflection ripple on midnight water, hearing the same lullaby, learning the same lesson. You are part of a much larger dance, connected to forces both seen and unseen. So, as you rest, imagine the slow rise and fall of the tide beneath the patient moon. Let your worries ebb with the outgoing water, carried away and replaced by calm. Let your hopes return with the next high tide, bringing renewal and gentle promise. In this endless dance of sea and sky, may you find peace, patience, and the quiet assurance that, like the ocean, you will always find your way home. Chapter 15. Oceans and Human Imagination, Myths, Gods, and Folklore. As you relax deeper, Floating in the timeless embrace of the sea, allow your mind to wander. Do not wander just through water, but through centuries of human wonder. For as long as people have lived by the shore, sailed across the waves, or gazed at the shifting horizon, the ocean has been a canvas for imagination, hope, and fear. Its endless depths, both beautiful and dangerous, have inspired stories of creation and destruction, of gods and monsters, and of the mysterious unseen world beneath the surface. Every culture with a coastline has peopled the ocean with its own spirits, deities, and legends. The ancient Greeks saw the sea as the domain of mighty Poseidon. His trident stirred storms and calmed the waves, and his mood was mirrored in the ocean's changing face. When sailors left port, they offered gifts and prayers, hoping for his favor. Even today, statues of Poseidon, Neptune, or other sea gods stand guard over harbors. They are a silent wish for safe passage. In the Pacific Islands, where the sea is a daily companion, stories and songs tell of creation itself, rising from the waves. The Maori of New Zealand sing of Tangaroa, the father of all sea creatures. His moods dictate weather and fishing fortunes. Hawaiian chants praise Kanaloa, god of the ocean, wise and mysterious. Across the waters, every island and every village has its own tales. There are stories of talking dolphins, wise turtles, or shape-shifting shark spirits watching over their people. To the Yoruba people of West Africa, the ocean is the realm of Yemaya, the mother of all living things. She is gentle and nurturing, but also powerful. Yemaya is a goddess of fertility, healing, and mercy, but also of storms and change. Her followers bring offerings to the sea, asking for protection and guidance. They trust in her ancient wisdom. In the north, the Vikings believed the ocean was patrolled by the giant serpent, Jormungandr, whose coils encircled the world. The Norse knew the sea as a wild, unpredictable force. Sometimes it was a road to new lands, sometimes a foe to be appeased. To travel its waters was to accept risk, to respect its moods, and to be ready for anything. Chinese folklore tells of the Dragon Kings. These are celestial beings who rule over the four seas, each controlling rain, tides, and the creatures of their watery domains. Fishermen prayed to these dragons for gentle winds and a good catch. Sometimes, the dragons appeared as mist on the water, or in the twisting forms of waves and clouds. But the ocean's stories are not only about gods. They are also full of creatures that blur the line between real and imagined. In every port, sailors have whispered of mermaids. These mysterious and beautiful beings sometimes save shipwrecked men, sometimes lure them to the depths. Their songs haunt the dreams of those who cross lonely waters, promising both love and danger. In the Caribbean, legends tell of the Lusca, a monstrous octopus lurking in blue holes. In Japan, fishermen speak of the umibozu, ghostly beings who rise from the sea in storms and demand respect and silence. The ocean has always been a place where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A distant shape on the horizon might be a floating log, or the back of a great whale. Or perhaps it is the beginning of a legend. The glow of plankton on a dark night is not just a chemical reaction, but the work of sea spirits or the footprints of a moon goddess. Even today, we give names and personalities to storms, currents, and winds. This keeps alive the ancient sense that the sea is alive, aware, and watchful. Stories of the sea comfort and warn us. They teach humility and urge us to respect what we cannot control. They help us make sense of tragedy, finding meaning in loss and hope in survival. For those who live far from the water, ocean myths are a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world. These are places where the rules are different and where wonder is always close at hand. As you drift toward sleep, let yourself be part of this endless tradition. Imagine a sea campfire on a beach, the sound of waves blending with old stories and the stars reflected on the water. Remember that, like the ocean, your imagination is vast and deep. Every dream is a small story, waiting to be told, cherished, and passed on. May the myths of the sea watch over your rest. May you awaken with a sense of wonder, ready to greet the world with open eyes and a dreaming heart. Chapter 16. The Ocean's Future, Hope or Threat. As you float near the end of our ocean journey, let your mind rest in a place between dreaming and waking. This is a place where the future still lies unwritten. The ocean, ancient and enduring, has always seemed endless, capable of withstanding anything the world could bring. But in our time, for the first time in history, the ocean's future is no longer certain. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, let us gently explore the questions and hopes that shape what lies ahead. For centuries, the sea seemed to be a world apart. It was untouchable, unchanging, infinitely vast. Yet, as the world has grown busier and more connected, the ocean has quietly borne the weight of our progress. Rivers carry pollution from distant factories. Plastic floats thousands of miles, collecting in swirling gyres. Coral reefs bleach and fade as water temperatures rise. Great fish and gentle whales, once abundant, are hunted or pushed to the edge of survival by nets, noise, and hunger. Climate change, too, moves silently through the deep. The ocean absorbs much of the planet's excess heat, becoming warmer, its currents shifting, its chemistry changing. Sea levels rise, flooding coasts where people have lived for generations. Ancient ice melts into the waves. Storms grow stronger and more unpredictable, their fury fueled by the warming sea. Whole communities, both human and animal, are forced to adapt, move, or face an uncertain future. But the story of the ocean's future is not just one of loss and danger. Around the world, people are waking up to the ocean's fragility, searching for ways to heal and protect it. Scientists work to understand how coral reefs might be saved, how fisheries can be managed sustainably, and how pollution can be reduced or removed. New protected areas are set aside, covering vast swaths of the sea, giving space for ecosystems to recover. Ancient traditions and new technologies blend, offering hope for balance. Children learn about the ocean's wonders in school, planting seeds of curiosity and care. Artists and writers, divers and sailors speak up for the sea, reminding the world that its future is tied to our own. There are triumphs too. Whales return to places where they had vanished. Seagrass meadows recover and help store carbon and protect coasts. New species are discovered in places once thought barren or dead. The ocean's power to heal is profound. Given time and respect, a damaged reef can bloom again. A polluted bay can become clear, and lost species may return. The ocean's story is one of renewal and resilience. It is a testament to life's ability to assist, to recover, and to surprise us with beauty even after hardship. Yet the future is never simple. The choices we make now, what we take from the sea, how we treat its shores, and what we send down its rivers, will echo for generations. The ocean's memory is icy. It remembers storms and sunlight, wounds and gifts. Our actions, large and small, shape the future. Drop by drop, tide by tide. As you rest, imagine the world's oceans hundreds of years from now. They are still wild, still mysterious, perhaps changed, but still vital. Picture whales singing in the deep, reefs alive with color, the moon's reflection shimmering on waves that reach every shore. The ocean's future is not just a question of science or policy, but of wonder, respect, and joy. It is a reminder that what we cherish, we must also protect. Let hope be the current that carries you forward. Even as we face challenges, remember that every positive action, every story told, every moment of awe, helps shape the destiny of the blue planet. The ocean's story is not over, and its future is still wide open. And now, as our voyage comes to a close, let yourself drift toward peaceful sleep, wrapped in the ancient calm of the sea. The ocean's lullaby continues, a song for dreamers, explorers, and every soul that find comfort in its depths. Conclusion. As our journey through the mysteries of the ocean draws to a close, let's take one last moment to fully relax and let go, allowing the calm of the sea to guide you gently into deep and restful sleep. Imagine yourself floating on the surface of a quiet, moonlit ocean. The air is cool and soft against your skin, and above you the stars shimmer gently, reflected in the still water. Feel the gentle rise and fall of the waves beneath you, supporting you effortlessly, each movement slow and peaceful, like the ocean's own steady breath. With every inhale, imagine drawing in the cool, salty air, filling your body with calm and ease. With every exhale, release the last traces of tension, letting any worries drift away, like small shells carried by the tide. There is no effort here, only the sensation of weightlessness, of being held and supported by the vast, gentle sea. Allow yourself to completely trust the water beneath you. Feel how it holds you, gently and safely, the same way it has held countless travelers and dreamers before you. There is nothing to do, nothing to prove, nowhere you need to go. The ocean cradles you just as you are, reminding you that you are enough, resting, breathing, existing in perfect peace. As you drift on the surface, imagine the soft, rhythmic lapping of the water around you. With every sound, every slow movement, your body relaxes a little more. Your mind grows quieter, your thoughts lighter, floating free in the open space of night. You are here, gently rocked by the endless blue, wrapped in the ancient comfort of the sea. Let these feelings linger as you move closer to sleep. You are healed. You are supported. You are enough, exactly as you are. The world is vast, and you have a place within it, unique and irreplaceable. Just as the ocean endures and renews itself, so the sleep does for you. Tonight, you can let go, rest, and simply may your dreams be calm and gentle, like waves beneath a silent moon. May you awaken refreshed, knowing that you are cared for and connected to the beauty of life all around you. Good night, and may the peace of the ocean carry you into deep, healing sleep. And there you have it, little dreamer. Another tale, tucked in and told, like a blanket of stars across your mind. If you're still awake, well, bless your stamina. And if you somehow forgot to tap, like, or subscribe earlier, go ahead and do it now, before the dreams pull you under. I'll be right here, waiting in the next story. Until then, sleep well and sail gently.